I know you mentioned, preparing the workforce for the future, and we know things like data analytics, automation, AI are all impacting the workforce, jobs, skills, wages. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you've seen in terms of trends when it comes to these areas?
Yeah, sure. So, emerging technology is a topic that we always do research on every single year. And I think the big step changes we've seen between last year and this year, the first one is cloud. It's not quite emerging tech, but cloud is so important because it's the foundation for a lot of other emerging technologies to work from. So, if you want AI, if you want IoT solutions, then you need to be cloud enabled in order to be able to facilitate the data that needs to flow up and down to give you the analytics as a result of it. So what we've seen for the first time this year is a cloud first strategy. So in the past, what we've seen companies say is, well, yes, we'll go into the cloud, but only if on-premise doesn't work. And across the last year, we've seen complete change in that, in as much as people are now saying, yes, we'll be in the cloud first, and if we can't be in the cloud, then we'll be on premise. So it's a big step change from a technology point of view, because it gives us that platform to be able to grow and to move forward from. So that's one of the big trends that we've seen. So sitting on top of that, you've got, as you say, robotics, you've got artificial intelligence, you've got augmented reality and virtual reality. What we're seeing is that AI particularly is starting to be used as a platform to help websites to perform better, to go into certain industries. So things like the insurance sector, professional services, banking, anything like that, solicitors, lawyers, where people have a problem and it can take a long time with an expensive skill to solve that problem. So if you can embed AI into the way that you work, then you can start to get automated claims, for example, and automatic choice of different policies that you might want from an insurance point of view that are relevant to you, rather than just a straight, I'm ticking this, I'm saying no to that, I'm saying yes to this, which is a little bit too inferior and doesn't give the detail behind it. An area that I think we'll see a lot of growth in is in the education sector. So we've already seen a massive change in the way that education's being delivered because children couldn't go to school. So that's had to go remote. But we're only at the start of that journey. There are so many possibilities to open up different ways of learning. I mean, when the pandemic hit, one of the things that CompTIA had to transition to was remote proctoring. So what we didn't want is for people who needed to take an exam not to be able to have that exam. So we were able to transition quite quickly and smoothly to remote proctoring so that people could do their exam at home. Now, if you can do your exams at home, that changes the whole basis for the nature of how you teach people. Do you need people to go to school? And there are bigger questions that sit around the technology part, for sure, around that. So you've got all the social elements around it. But from a technology point of view, no, you don't. You can teach anybody anywhere. So as long as you've got a solid infrastructure, cloud is a part of that. As long as you've got that solid infrastructure, then you've got the basis to be able to deliver out a much better form of education and a better experience for people, because you can vary it according to the learning styles of the students. So, there are so many exciting possibilities coming up, it's untrue. But then on the other side, one of the other big trends we've seen is in zero trust. So around cyber, with the pandemic, people going and working from home, they've got their own computer equipment, they've got their own routers and things like that, might not be secured properly, but they're now having to access all of their corporate data, corporate emails and things. The whole world of cybersecurity has changed massively. And what we're having to look at now is zero trust. So it can't be a case of, yes, I've got antivirus, I've got anti-malware, I've got this in place. It's a case of, well, you could be hit from the inside out. So you need zero trust, because how do I know that you're the right device from the right person at the right location on my network? So it's about making sure that the technology delivers that value in terms of cybersecurity, and it's doing that through zero trust. Robotics, we're seeing a lot more work with automotive or manufacturing companies. where it's much easier for them to be able to monitor machines. They've always been able to program machines with CNC programming, but now they can monitor the throughput, they can monitor the way in which they're performing. Are they starting to slow down? Are the parts starting to wear? Do they need maintenance work? So again, we're sort of sitting on the precipice of a big sea change when it comes to manufacturing. But the downside, the hard side of that, is that manufacturing equipment is very expensive. So a lot of traditional companies won't have the ability to put new modern technology in very quickly. It's going to be over an extended period of time, just because it's not financially viable to do it in any other way. But yeah, we're seeing emerging technology being used in lots of really interesting different ways now.
Sure, and clearly no industry, there's not any industry that's not going to be impacted or that already hasn't been impacted. So how does the workforce prepare? What are some of the key skills, competencies that employees and workers should be building to prepare for this or to engage in this type of work?
Okay, so from a technical point, we need people who've got proper certifications, proper understanding of technology, not necessarily to work on help desks, because the nature of help desks is changing, but people need to have an understanding of things like data and how to structure data, how to share data, how to report it, how to record it. So that all kind of sits in that sort of IoT area, again with AI and again with edge computing as well. We get a lot more possibilities coming in there. But for people coming into the workforce, they really need to understand that architecture, understand that infrastructure. From a human perspective, what we're saying is that people need a lot stronger business skills. So yes, there are degrees, again, there are levels in this. So the more technical you get, by nature, the further away from the overall business view you get. But people who are sort of level 1, level 2 techs, perhaps sometimes into level 3, they need an understanding of business processes, business pain points, how technology can impact on the ability of a business to improve and to be more successful in what it does, and to talk in that business language, not to talk tech. I'm not selling you a cloud hosted software application that's running here. What I'm selling you is the geographic independence to run your business from anywhere you like, and to know that it's secured and it's backed up and it's been looked after and it's licensed properly. So it changes the nature of that conversation, and we need to see an awful lot more of that from a human perspective for people understanding and being able to talk in business terms.
How can people who are in non-technical roles prepare for careers like this without having to get very technical?
Okay, so working with the organisations that they're already in, get to know the IT department, get to know the help desk. They clearly, obviously, don't need to get involved in answering calls and sorting stuff out with a screwdriver or what have you, but get involved in tech, make it something that you're interested in. So technology hits every single job that any person can do. Whether you are working in an office, your telephone will be on an automated system. If you're in a shop, the till that you use will be connected to the internet. It's a computer. If you take orders, you have a tablet. That tablet is a computer. So almost every job that you come across has an element of technology built into it. And being curious and having a mindset that says, I'm not afraid of it, but I am going to learn a little bit about it, and I need to understand how that has an impact on my job and how can I use it effectively. So being responsible, I guess, is the way I think that those non-technical people can get involved in technology. And not everybody will love technology. I completely understand that it's not everybody's bag. And if it isn't, find somebody else who can help you with it. But at least have an understanding, an overview of what technology is and what it does for you.